Thanks for watching Film Buff. Really, honestly, it's fucking great.
Oh, hello. How's it going, guys? It's Sim. Alright, man. I just got home. Ran straight to my computer. Yeah, this trailer dropped like 5 hours ago now, maybe 6 hours. So it's been a bit of a frustrating day because just the timing, man. I wasn't even close to home. But forget that. I'm here now. Let's get this going. The Game of Thrones trailer, man, for the final season. Perhaps the final trailer? It remains to be seen if they're gonna do the usual 2 trailers. It's my favorite show of all time, man. The attachment I have to this show and the characters on this show is unparalleled to anything I've seen in the past. There's amazing shows I've seen. Amazing shows. But this is just absolutely special to me. Everything about it. The characters mean so much to me. A few of them, yeah, they mean just so much to me. And yeah, man. I mean, everyone has a show like that, right? Everyone's got shows that they have strong attachments to. And for some, this might not be the one. For some, this might just be a casual thing. For some, this might just be another show they just check out, right? And that's fair. Fair enough. But for a lot of people, this is a big deal, man. It's been, I'm sure for a lot of others as well. But, for me, it's been a part of my life for nearly a decade now, right? Something like 8-9 years. This show has done stuff for me, man. It's opened new doors for me. It actually gave me my start on YouTube. I was there day 1, episode 1, back in 2011. Before I go any further, I need to thank all the amazing patrons. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for sticking around. Some of you are absolutely just incredible, man. Just loyal. Much respect. Thank you so much. And if you're into social media, check out my Twitter account. I'm super active there. And, I would love to have more Game of Thrones fans there, fellow Game of Thrones fans. But yeah, check it out if you're into that. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's get into this trailer, and then let's chat.
I know death. He's got many faces.
Holy shit!
I look forward to seeing this one.
Fucking hell, I'm already tear. The Golden Company.
Brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
They're coming. Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop.
Gendry! Who?
Doesn't feel.
Come on, Jamie! She's drinking. Ooh, and teary-eyed.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Hard on! Oh my fucking god. Oh. Fuck. Man. Yeah. That fucked me up. There is some stunning imagery in there, man. There's some iconic, some legendary, some anticipated stuff. Some scary stuff, some really scary stuff. God damn, man. Let me check that out one more time. I'm gonna check that out one more time. Arya, man, this is... She's
know
being
that.
stalked, man. She's being... But she's got the dagger.
Not many faces. I look forward to seeing this one.
You got to see him, Arya. April 14th. Goddamn. So the Golden Company showed up, right? That was the plan. He was supposed to go get... Euron was supposed to get Golden Company. Tormund Barrack.
Where you belong.
She seems quite happy. Look at this. The Unsullied. This is iconic. Oh my god. Sansa. Lady Stark.
They're
Dragons above. Man, this is...
Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop. Doesn't feel.
The music from Anjali, you god. What a shot.
I intend to keep that promise.
Yes, Lannister. Yes, Jaime. Yara? No, sorry. That's Arya. My bad. This is like the Helm's Deep Field Man pod the rod. Ser Jorah. But yeah, man. So let's get right into it. As you can see, the first shot is, this shot really kind of caught me off guard, man. Because it's so odd. It's such an odd situation to see Arya like this. It's actually really jarring, man. And I thought it's a great choice for the opening to this trailer because no one's expecting this, right? I'm sure everyone else is probably looking at this shot just like I was. Because, listen, this is Arya. This is a calm, composed, ice-cold killer, man. Like an assassin. One of the best. She is not scared of anything, right? Yet, here she is, bloodied up, hiding. She seems to be terrified for her life. You know, it terrifies me to see her in this state of fear. Because, yeah, this is not something we're used to, man. This is not something she's used to be in this position. I mean, look at that, man. She's like, her right eye is just busted, man, just bloodied up. She does have the dragon glass dagger. She's equipped. I mean, I guess the shot's gonna come up, but she does have the cat's paw blade on her, so she is equipped to fight them. More on that in a bit. Let's kind of go through this. Sir Davos, always a pleasant sight to see him. He seems to be in a position of authority. And this is, they show a few shots from this, preparing for the night battle. So, he looks to be up top. But yeah, back to Arya. And then you can see the dragon glass dagger and her cat's paw blade. So she's equipped, but she's been in a dust up, and she's on the run. All right, so down below in the crypts, the women and children, Lord Varys, and I'm sure there might be others, filling out the place. Now, the only two I recognize are Lord Varys and Gilly. Three, I guess. Lil Sam's there as well. Now, I've seen this before. I've seen this statue before in this spot. This is Lord Rickard. I believe they showed this back in season 1, a long time ago. Osha and Bran are down there.
That's my grandfather, Lord Rickard. He was burned alive by the Mad King Aerys.
Now, being down there, there's a few pros and there's a few cons about it, right? Now, of course, pros being they keep them out of sight, keep them protected as long as possible, right? Now let's say if the Night King and his minions, if they make it down there or close by, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could raise like dead Starks, And that would be extremely fucked up. That would just be insane. Now, if that does happen, if something like that does happen, I do hope it's similar to the Return of the King. In the sense that they defend these people. Now, again, let's be realistic here. That's a bit far fetched, for the show at least, because I feel like something like that could happen in the books. But in the show, I don't know. I think that might be a bit too far-fetched. Now, as far as the show goes, they haven't really made that big of a deal of the crypts, right? Other than the resting place of Starks, right? They haven't made the biggest deal of the crypts. Now, I'm saying that because I am reading the books at the moment. So if you don't want any book spoilers, or you don't want any information from the books, please skip the next 30 seconds or so, or a minute. Now, in the books, the crypts are made out to be really special. That you really get that feeling that there is something special about the crypts. That it's much more than just the final resting place of Starks. Jon has these reoccurring dreams down there, of being down there. And the creepiest one that I've read so far is one of him being down there, and the vault doors opening up, and the dead kings coming out, falling out. So yeah, I mean, that you could definitely, kind of relate to this, the potential pros and cons of things that could potentially happen, right? And beyond the first two books, I have come across other exciting theories and interesting theories about the crypts. Now, that's because, I've been a fan for nearly a decade now, since day one. And in that time, I have been exposed to, book stuff, book theories and, theories, book stuff being used to theorize about the show. So, it's kind of impossible to, avoid it for that long. But all that being said, the show hasn't really, set up the crypts as anything that exciting. Not as exciting as the books have, right? In the show, it's mostly set up as the final resting place of the Stark Kings, right? For the most part. There are a few exceptions, right? Now, another thing to remember here is that Little Sam is down here, man. As you'll remember, Little Sam was meant to be an offering, right? By Craster. But, the offering didn't make it because Sam didn't let it happen. Could this still be playing a part in any of this? I don't think they forgot about him. I don't think they forgot. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see if that's a big deal at all. But the good thing about the crypts is that there are secret passages down there, right? To make a safe exit, if need be.
I won't make it to the wall. I won't make it 10 feet past the Winterfell gates.
There are ways. Hidden passageways built so the lords of Winterfell could escape.
In fact, I do think they'll be making use of that, the safe passages, because I believe the castle is gonna fall. There's some signs throughout this trailer that it's been breached, especially early on, right in the beginning of the trailer, you see Arya, being hunted down. She's on the run. It's quite clear that it's been breached. So I do think they are gonna make use of those passages to retreat, to perhaps abandon the castle. There's that one shot of Jaime, and he seems to be, he's bloodied up. It's in the thick of the battle, and he seems to be yelling, "Run!" Right? And then I think later on, there's also a shot of Jon and a bunch of men running inside the castle. During the reaction, I said Hardhome. That's what it reminded me of, right? They're running, and it was almost identical. The shot of him running, more like escaping, actually. So yeah, there's signs that they might have to, retreat, abandon the castle. More on that later. But yeah, let's move along. I do need to get back to Arya. You're still. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Now, see, that right there looks like a fresh, someone that quite possibly just recently turned, right? Again, I'll get into a few possibilities in a bit. But yeah. Fucking hell, man. This is... it looks like two of them. Yeah, that's two of them. So... Fuck. Dude, this is so fucked up. She's in the castle, and they're inside, and they're hunting her down, man. This is just really... Oh, man, this is so odd. Jesus, look at her face, man. I have not seen Arya like that in a long time, if ever. This part, I'm gonna try to go slowly. Wow. So there, I clearly see the face and the hands. There's another, well, the second one's there, but it's like too dark to really make out. But of course, even as blurry as it is, you could tell that almost looks like a human, right? And by that, I mean that it has most of the flesh intact, because a lot of them, it's just bones, right? But I still firmly believe that's someone who turned. And of course, you can see there's another one right here, in the last few frames, I saw two of them running in, so they're chasing her down side by side. This kind of plays into one of the thoughts I have. More on that later. I just kind of want to get through to the end of Arya's little opening in this trailer. I think it's coming up right here. Yeah. See, the juxtaposition here is just fantastic, right? As Arya is, going on about knowing death and the many faces of it, they're showing shots of an absolutely terrified Arya, someone who is scared for her life, being hunted. So I do think it's quite fantastic, how they set that up. But see, this is Arya that we're used to, right? She has this air of arrogance about her. Like, just look at the look on her face. Like, she isn't even bothered, And that comes from the fact that she is supremely confident in her abilities. And she should be, right? Because, she is a savage. She is ice cold. She is a trained assassin, and she's learned from some of the best, Cyril Farrell, the Hound, Jack and Hagar. So she has every reason to be confident in her abilities, right? And it shows here, she's like, I'm looking forward to seeing this one, but it seems like she kind of met her match, right? And I do believe she might be talking to Gendry at this point. Because, she's got, it looks like she just got the dagger, like she was just handed the dagger. And later on there's a shot of Gendry, and there's like a mountain of obsidian, dragon glass. So he's been making these. Now let's look at some of the possibilities, and let's apply some of the common trailer tropes, right? The misdirect, and the sequencing of the shots, also in relation to the voiceover, in those particular shots. The misdirect is probably at play for a lot of this trailer, for parts of this trailer. And I'm sure it could be at play in this Arya sequence of her, running through the halls. Like I said, she is one of the best fighters they have on their side. And I believe that as one of the best fighters for the living, she is staying back as long as possible, to give people time to perhaps escape, to retreat. Abandoned castle. So that could be at play here. She could be trying to buy them some time. I still find it so strange that she is that terrified. It's just so odd. It's so out of place. And for that reason, I do feel like there could be other things at play here. Because she's equipped to fight them. She's got the dragon glass dagger. She's got the cat's paw blade. And she's certainly skilled enough to take them out, a couple of them out if need be. Again, that's easy to say, because, in the trailer, they're only showing us a few. It's entirely possible they might be a shitload of them, chasing her down the halls or something, right? Now let's think about stuff that could potentially break her, right? And, the first thing I think of is that, did she just see a loved one turn? Or someone she cares for turn? I feel like that is something that could definitely break her, right? She's as tough as they come, but some things can break you, man. And I feel like that could be one of those things. Imagine being chased by someone you care for, someone you love. Yeah, I do feel like that is something that could break her. Now, in terms of a potential misdirect, is it possible she's kind of, playing possum? Is it possible that she's trying to get them to chase her? She could be leading them into a spot that is a bit more advantageous for her, right? To take them out. Or she could be running down to the crypts, right? Is it possible that they can't get in? Because perhaps strong magic. It's known that Bran the Builder makes use of magic, strong magic, in the things he builds, right? The wall comes to mind instantly, and I believe he had a hand in Storm's End as well, right? He had a part to play in that, in building that, and I believe there is magic used there as well. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that there could be strong magic at the entrance of the crypts, right? Now the Night King, I feel like the Night King could get through there, of course, right? Especially if Bran's passed through there. It remains to be seen if Bran goes down there at some point. Of course, no idea at this point. There's a shot of him later, him and Sam. Let's get to that shot. I'll try to see if it's clear, if they if they're outside or inside. But yeah, she could just be trying to escape, make use of those passages, those hidden passages to get out. So, excited to see how all this plays out. Again, Arya does appear later on in the trailer. Now, I think that section is probably before this, chase scene through the halls. More on that later once I get to it. Let's move on. April 14th, of course, suspenseful music plays. Now, I think this right here is a misdirect, because the sigils are clearly different, right? And you can see there's only 3 of these ships. It's possible that this is Euron. Sorry, not Euron. This is possible that this could be Theon trying to, go out there and rescue Yara. Yeah, you can see in the background. Look at this. There's so many of them, right? So that's definitely a misdirect there. And so, of course, this is the Golden Company.
10,000 skilled soldiers fight for the Golden Company.
The Golden Company?
Never broken a contract.
They sell swords.
Right? They set this up in season 7 near the end. Cersei had Euron go down there and bring the Golden Company. Let's go back a bit. And right there's a quick glimpse of Euron. Yeah, that's definitely him. And let me go. Okay, that's a good spot. Now, this is the new character. Seems to be the commander of the Golden Company, or Captain Commander. I don't know the titles. It is kind of late in the game to be introducing a brand new character. Because everything's so established, it's the end game basically, right? So I don't know how much of an impact he's going to make in the grand scheme of things. He's got great armor on. The sword, it's actually a really nice sword. It really sticks out. He even kind of looks like season 1 Jaime. He's got the same hair, the slick back or, combed blonde hair Jaime had in season 1. Now, in terms of having an impact on the narrative, this late on in the game, it's possible that Euron could pull something. It's not a guarantee. You can't fully trust Euron. I feel like he's definitely gonna have something up his sleeve. Now I do know the Golden Company is known for never breaking a contract, but the key there is the contract itself, right? Euron, yeah, Cersei told him to go down there, but none of us know. Cersei doesn't know the contract, the details of the contract. He could have pulled something. He could definitely double cross Cersei. Barrett, Tormund, and Lord Commander Ed, official confirmation that they are alive. So it's great to see that they made it out. So this shot, it kind of feels like they're exploring, right? It kind of feels like they're, I don't know. It just, could they be back at the castle, right? Did they make it back in time to join the battle? Because they don't really show them. They even show us Jamie, being part of the battle. So if they show that is showing us quite a bit. But they didn't show any of these guys in that, taking part in that battle. So it's entirely possible that they might be somewhere else entirely, right? Now, if they did make it back in time, they could be useful. They could be really useful because they've seen firsthand the army, right? The army of the undead. They've seen firsthand the Night King on his, newly acquired dragon, and the devastation it's capable of, right? So that's a lot of important insight they can provide, John and the rest. But again, that being said, all of that information is kind of at their disposal, through Bran. He's seen all of that, In fact, the final scene of season 7, it was him seeing the Night King go over, so he knows, right? But it's always good to have people confirm those things. Bran could say it. It could be a cool scene of Bran telling them exactly what he saw, and then these guys, if they made it back in time, that remains to be seen. It looks kind of like they might be somewhere else. But yeah, if he tells them something and they can confirm it, that's gonna be a big deal. That's gonna be a big deal, especially if it's in front of everyone. But in terms of Bran, I feel like yes, perfect. Okay, there's a fire in the background. Bit of snow. And it appears that this might... Yeah, there's snow up here as well. It appears this is outside because you can see the mud or the ground. So he's not down below. Sam and Bran are not down below. Well, I mean, again, that's just based on the trailer. They could be down below. Who knows? At some point. But the feeling I'm getting here is that this scene right here, you could, like, having a look at Sam almost kind of looks teary-eyed, unless it's just a glare. I feel like this could be the moment Bran tells him they're here. And you can see right there, Sam breathing out, and you can see it. They've established that, through a few shots, that if they're close by, it gets much colder, But again, they are outside, so it could just be because it's cold, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this probably is the moment he tells them that they're here. So I'm loving this Bran and Sam connection. Since the end of last season, Sam brings in a bit more of a human touch. He's almost like an emotional translator for Bran, because these days Bran's not the most emotive person around. Now, going back to the end of last season, the finale, the big moment, right? They know they have to tell John. He needs to know the truth. And these two are the only ones that know of this, right? At this point. Actually, no. They're not the only ones. Howland Reed also knows, but of course, he hasn't been part of this at all. They haven't shown him. They've shown his kids, but I hope that changes. Maybe he can make an appearance in the final season. But yeah, they have a major task, a monumental task on their hands. So I'm excited to see how that kind of plays out and how they carry that out. Is it going to be Bran? Is it going to be Sam? Is it going to be both of them together? Because that scene presents a lot of interesting possibilities. But first of all, he's going to have to get used to this Bran, the new Bran. The first time he's going to see him in who knows how long, man, a long time. And he's going to have to get used to this. He's the three-eyed raven. That being said, Jon did come back from the dead. He knows of the possibilities. He knows of magic. He knows that, insane things are possible. So it might not be that far-fetched to him, And of course, the big moment, him finding out about his real parents. That's a monumental moment. in Jon's life and even for the realm, depending on how things change once it's out there. Again, I say that, but I feel like even if Sam can confirm it to Jon, he's gonna have the annulment documents and all that. I feel like they'll believe it. To them it'll be okay. Yeah, this is the truth. So the actual scene itself, the big moment he tells Jon, or a combination of the two, that's gonna be quite exciting, man. And I'm excited of how Bran convinces him, or delivers this. I do hope at some point Bran, he tells Jon something that only Ned could have possibly told Jon. I would love that. I'd love like a callback moment to Ned Stark. Oh my god, please just give me something. Give me, give the man his respect. Give me something Ned Stark related, man. But I still think there is going to be a problem trying to convince everyone else, the people of the North, and just everyone in general, because this is huge. This is like monumental for Jon, and then also the realm, because the connotations of this are just holy shit. Like, they're massive, man. So they're gonna need a bit more. I think they're gonna need physical evidence. Now, Sam might have the annulment documents, right? So that could definitely play a part again, in order to convince people. Let's see how it plays out. Because if realistically speaking, not everyone's gonna be on board. Not everyone's just gonna take it at face value. They need proof. So let's see how that plays out. Now let's focus on Bran and his role, as the new three-eyed raven, and his role in this battle against the dead, this the final conflict, because I'm so sure that at some point these two are going to engage.
You must learn to control it before the Night King comes. Drink. One way or another, he will find his way to the world of men. When he does, you will be there waiting for him. And you will be ready.
Because if the Night King's gonna be defeated, I think Bran's gonna have to play a major role in that. And I don't mean that he's gonna, have a fight against him physically. He might battle him. He might engage him in a different sense. Perhaps a battle of the minds. I could totally see either one of them taking control of others or other things. As they engage. There's a possibility that a dragon could be taken control of, right, or taken over.
You're going to help me walk again.
You'll never walk again. But you will fly.
So I'm really excited to see how Bran and the Night King face off at some point. That's going to be just mind-blowing, I think. Now, I don't think Bran, aka the Three-Eyed Raven, is the only person the Night King is interested in. They've been saying enough for some time now. The Night King also has his eyes on Jon. He's scoped him out. He's eyeballed him on a few different occasions now, right? So he knows there's something about Jon Snow. He knows that this man might be special as well, that he could be a threat. So they have been building up to another grand battle. Perhaps Jon going up against the Night King. One-on-one, man. I feel like there's going to be a moment that Jon is probably going to have to fight him. Now, again, like I said earlier, I have been exposed to book lore, throughout the last few years. The one thing that just comes to mind instantly is The Last Hero. So the stories about The Last Hero and how he defeated them all that time ago, it kind of, Jon kind of fits into that. It does feel like there could be another situation. And Jon is this, new embodiment of the last hero, and that he is going to go one-on-one against the Night King at some point. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the final, final like battle to decide it all, but I do feel like they're gonna engage at some point, and I would love to see that. I think they need to show us that. I think they've been setting it up for some time now. So it looks like she's spotted the Golden Company and Euron coming back, so she's happy about that. I mean, I'm not sure how long she's gonna be happy or stay happy about that, because I do think Euron might try something. This is a direct parallel to episode 1. Bran seeing King Robert and his traveling party, right? So I'll never forget his little face. How excited he was in that moment. So call back to that, and this. This is iconic. This is just, oh my god, this is a beautiful shot. The framing of the shot is just, oh man, I just love it. But iconic because they show up side by side, united front, and again, this is a callback to episode 1. The king and queen back then, Cersei and Robert, showing up. Yeah, this shot, this is just, oh my god, this is just unreal, man. And of course, this beautiful shot of Sansa, Lady Stark, seeing Drogon. Again, some beautiful imagery, some striking imagery. Again, monumental that dragons are above this castle, man. This is just, again, gorgeous stuff. Sansa, yeah, this shot right here, this is beautiful. This, oh my god, Daenerys Targaryen in the crypts. This is just, okay, this is just unreal, man. I mean, like I said, not too long ago, thinking back to like almost a decade ago, I couldn't even imagine this. But here she is, down there. But again, call back to season 1. At that point, Robert and Ned are down there. And Robert, he said he wants to pay respects to Lyanna. And, it appears that Jon might be doing that at this point. And, it does feel like he might know at this point. Because, in the next shot, I'll get to that. Actually, might as well get there. Yeah, in this shot, he looks like he's deep in thought. It feels like he knows at this point. And before I go any further, there's another amazing parallel here. And the fact that this is happening is just insane. All that time ago, back in season 1, episode 1, the pilot, Robert Baratheon, Bobby B, he stood down here looking at Lyanna's statue. And he said, "Every night I dream of killing him," right? And at that point, Ned goes, "They're all dead now." And Robert goes, "Not all of them." Cue Daenerys' first ever appearance on the show, right? Now, all this time later, she is down in that exact same spot. I just love this parallel, man. Robert saying not all of them. And now, all this time later, 2 Targaryens are standing in the exact same spot. So this is, yeah, this is just amazing stuff, man. Assuming he does know at this point, just imagine, man. All his life, he's wanted to know who his mom is, right? And he came so close. Ned told him, "Next time, I'll tell you." And unfortunately, they just never met again. And it turns out it's Lyanna Stark. So, that is probably not the person he was expecting at all. This is going to be, it's going to come as a shock to him. But not only that, but also finding out that Ned Stark is not his real father, and that it's a Targaryen, Rhaegar Targaryen. But yeah, going back to Ned, it's that has to affect him. Finding out that he's not actually Ned Stark's son. He spent most of his life up until that point, carrying himself in a manner that respects and honors Ned Stark's memory, right? He's looked up to him all his life. He's tried to, make him proud. So imagine how conflicted he must be to, all of a sudden find out that that's not his father, man. But I do hope he remembers what he told Theon, that he doesn't have to pick. He is both. He is a Targaryen and he is a Stark. Let me flip that around. He is a Stark and he is a Targaryen. Now I say that because he was raised a Stark all his life. And this has major implications for Daenerys, man. She thought she was the last Targaryen. And everything she's done up until this point is to take back the throne. Imagine her finding out that she's not alone and that there is another Targaryen. Now, all of a sudden, there's another Targaryen, and this Targaryen has a stronger claim to the throne. But that being said, this other Targaryen happens to be Jon Snow, and Jon Snow does not give a shit about being the king or being on that throne. He has no interest in that. That's been established and that's been drilled into him from the beginning, man.
When dead men and worse come hunting for us in the night, do you think it matters who sits on the Iron Throne?
No.
Good.
Night's Watch take no part in the wars of the Seven Kingdoms.
There's only one war. Life against death.
The dead are here and the throne does not matter, and Commander Mormont told him that back in season 1, and Jon's been saying this. He said this to Dany in season 7, that right now the only thing that matters is us against the dead. So she doesn't really need to be concerned about that angle. He'll straight up give it to her. He doesn't even give a shit about it, right? It's all yours. And of course, the other big thing that comes out of this is the fact that they're gonna find out they're related. Jon's gonna find out that he's been banging his aunt, and she's gonna find out that that's her nephew. Now, Dany, she kind of grew up knowing about the Targaryen traditions, right? In fact, she grew up thinking she's gonna marry Viserys, right? For the longest time, that's just how she grew up. She just thought that was normal. So perhaps it might not be the biggest shock to her. It's gonna be a shock to find out they're related, but I don't think she's gonna be too, turned off by the idea. You don't choose who you love. You don't get to choose who you love. Jaime Lannister said that to Brienne, as he's teasing her about Renly all those seasons ago. So, you can't just stop loving. It's not like she's gonna stop loving him all of a sudden, right? Jon, on the other hand, again, he was raised a bit differently. He might not be totally down for it. There might be a little bit of friction after that news comes out, after he knows they're related and this is his aunt. Let's see how it plays out. It's possible that it might not even be a talking point at all. Like, they might just kind of brush over it. Like, they might mention it, they might have a conversation about it or something, but given the grand nature of this final season and the big problem at hand, the Night King and his army of the dead, maybe this might not be that big of a deal. Speaking of Daenerys, just longing for that throne and taking it back, that's been her whole arc up until this point. She's been, everything she's done since being married off to Khal Drogo has been, she's had tunnel vision. It's all to take the throne back, right? Now, I've maintained for a long time that it's going to be a bit of a heartbreak moment, bit of a bittersweet moment, and that she's not going to sit on the throne. She's not going to be queen. I don't think it's going to happen. And, I say that, and I base that on a scene all the way back from season 2. I think that scene is probably one of the most important scenes of the entire series, to be honest. And I'll toss it up here in post as I'm talking about it. I'm talking about her vision in the House of the Undying, right? Her in the throne room. That's an iconic moment of the show, I think. Showing her in the throne room so early on. And beyond just that moment, there's other implications of that scene. I'll get into that, but I just I saw that scene, and since then I've never changed my stance on this. And there's that one shot of her hand reaching in and almost touching the throne, but then no, close, so close, but no, it doesn't happen. She backs off because she hears her dragons. You know, so I feel like that's a lot. I feel like that's strong symbolism, and I feel like that might play out. And I feel like she might be close. You know, it's possible that she could be close to being the queen. You know, being back on the throne. But there's gonna be other stuff that comes up. You know, I personally believe that Dany might die. You know, I think she might die. I'm not, you know, at this point I'm not really sure if Jon's gonna die. Because, and I say that because, you know, they already killed him. They killed him off at one point, right? So for him to die again, I mean, you know, you would think they're probably gonna, if there's gonna be a major death, they might focus on others, someone like Dany. So I feel like she might have a moment, you know, sacrificing herself or having her head turned once again because someone she loves, or something she loves draws her away from the throne. Just like in that vision, you know, she almost touches it, but her dragons, her children, right? She loves them. They, she goes to them instead. So I feel like something like that could happen, and you know, it could also mean that there is no throne by the end of this. You know, I do think the great battle, you know, this conflict, I think things are going to change dramatically. I think things are going to change. So it's possible that there might not even be a need for just one true king or one true queen. You know, it could change a lot of things. And the other striking thing about that throne room shot is that it's burnt, man. The roof is just absolutely just charred and it's destroyed, and it's pretty clear that's dragon fire, right? That did that. And the snow is coming in, so it remains to be seen, you know, if that is one of Dany's dragons that does that at some point. You know, another possibility is that if the Night King himself shows up, right, and he just absolutely destroys the place. So yeah, I mean, I think that scene, you know, it's possible that could play out, you know, because she's not the only one who saw that. Bran also sees that. He sees the exact same moment in one of his visions. I can't remember exactly at what point, but he does see it. So I do think that could happen in season 8. And you know, one of the only things still remaining from the Bran's visions is that, you know, the shadow of the dragon above King's Landing. Now, Drogon showed up in season 7, right? Dany rode him into the dragon's pit, so it's possible that at one point he flew over. But again, you know, that's a shot they've shown a few times, man. They've shown that a few times now. You know, Bran's seen it definitely more than twice in his visions. So that could still happen, man. And you know, again, could that be the Night King showing up? Yeah, holy shit. But yeah, let's move along. All right, look at this. Gendry, man, the last Baratheon. And you know, as I mentioned before, there's a mountain, just, you know, big piles of obsidian, dragon glass, and Gendry is at it, you know, preparing all this for the front lines and equipping everyone. So, you know, he still has a major role to play. Now, you know, could he still have a role to play beyond that, you know? Again, you know, long-running theories, you know, that he potentially could be Cersei's actual child. You know, he could be legitimate, and that he might not be a bastard. Going back to, you know, season 1, Cersei, you know, talked about a black-haired beauty, and you know, since then there's always been the theories that, you know, he could still be a legitimate child of Robert and Cersei. He is the last Baratheon. You know, could Gendry find himself in a really high position by the end of the series? You know, I honestly, anytime that question comes up, who do you think's gonna end up on the Iron Throne? I'm like so past that point. Like, I do feel like it doesn't matter at this point because, of course, they're fighting against the fucking army of the dead. So, let's see how things play out. Let's see how it all looks after this. You know, the aftermath. Let's see who's left standing. And again, you know, it's so cool to see him here at this castle. His father was here all that time ago, Bobby V. All this time later, Gendry, side by side, along the Starks, So it's really nice to see, man. It's really nice to see. Look at this, man. Ser Jorah on the front lines, organizing, in a position of authority, of command. God damn, it's so good to see him around again. And I believe that right there, that could be Heartsbane. It certainly looks like it. And it would make sense if he has Heartsbane, right? Sam and Jorah have that connection. He saved Jorah's life. Sam is not he's not a fighter, right? So he's not gonna have Heartsbane on him. Might as well give it to someone who could use it, someone who could be good at using it, someone like Ser Jorah Mormont. They definitely need all of those in play. Every single one of them. And that reminds me of, I think, the next shot that's about to come up. Okay, not the next shot, but this. Okay, this is like death flags. Like major death flag right here, man. Missandei and Grey Worm. This is like as death flaggy as it gets, man. So yeah, there has to be death. I'm expecting people to die. That's just, if you're gonna keep it realistic, people have to die. This, holy shit. Look at this. Brienne. This is definitely Brienne slicing someone down. And, oh, okay. That right there is Tyrion. Look, you can just tell by the height. That is Tyrion. That is just insane. All of them are up top. And the next shot brings us Jaime. And is that Pod? That's got to be Pod beside him, right? It looks like Pod. Let me go a few more frames. Yeah, I think that's Pod. Like, he's got the head shape and the haircut. But yeah, Jaime. I mentioned earlier that it sounds like he's saying run. Kind of muffled it so you can't really make it out, but it feels like he's saying run, and it feels like they might be retreating. He's bloodied up. For the first time in a long time, Ice is back home in the form of Jaime and Brienne's swords. That's just, oh man, that's just fantastic, isn't it? It's just so fitting that Ice has made its way back to the castle, and it's going to be used to defend the castle. Now, yeah, Jaime fucking Lannister, man. More on Jaime later. I'll probably have like a big section on him. There is one more that they've name dropped in this show, going back to season 2, I believe, Arya dropped Dark Sister.
Visenya Targaryen was a great warrior. She had a Valyrian steel sword she called Dark Sister.
She's a heroine of yours, I take it.
Now, I do know that the last known location, it was meant to be the Blood Raven, right? So the Three-Eyed Raven. But who knows, man? If there's even a small possibility that they could potentially locate it, I think they'll try. And how fitting would it be if Arya gets it? Now she does already have the dagger, the Caspod dagger, sword and dagger. It's a totally different type of thing. So I think that could be quite fitting. It actually fits Arya perfectly if she gets it, if they find it. Yes, this shot. So it appears that again, the black robes. That's got to be Euron. And that's got to be the commander, in the armor and the blonde hair. Meeting Cersei. And, again, I noticed instantly that the lighting, the dark and moody lighting is reminiscent of the lighting in that flashback shot, of the Mad King from Bran's visions, right? Oh, man, there is so much going on in this shot, right? Man, this is such a powerful moment. So much is said just, through those eyes and the subtle head movements and, the acting. Lena Headey is immense. She is just amazing. I firmly believe, I still maintain that she is the best actor on this show. I'm sure, this final season is gonna definitely put her up for Emmys again. And they're running for an Emmy. But yeah, man, just some fantastic acting and directing at display. Nothing's being said here, but so much is being communicated. It's quite interesting to see that glimmer of regret, and sadness. I see a person that is alone. I see a person that has everything yet nothing. You know what I mean? You know, she's I mean, she lost everything. You know, on one end, she lost everything. You know, she lost her children. She lost her closest companion, her lover, her brother. You know, you know, at one point it seemed like they were inseparable, right? That nothing could separate them. That nothing else mattered as long as they are together. You know, but even that, she lost even that. You know, she even drove him out, right? And also, she's drinking. So that has major implications. Actually, before I move on, it's also entirely possible that she got some bad news. You know, I don't want to, I don't want to go down that road. But is it possible that Jamie could have died and she's getting that news, right? I mean, that's a possibility, man. Anything's a possibility. You don't. It's a rare moment to see Cersei like this. But again, there's another, really potentially sad moment. She could have lost her child, hence the drinking. That would definitely make her sad. That is, that's devastating. But also, it is not something that should shock her. I don't think she's not gonna be shocked about that. Just like she wasn't shocked that Tommen died. And then the other possibility is that perhaps she was lying this whole time, that she wasn't pregnant. And it was just like a ploy, to kind of manipulate Jamie and, get him to just make sure that she has a grasp on Jamie. And then, also it came into play against Tyrion. She made it clear to him that, she might be pregnant. Again, I can't really say for sure. I mean, I don't think anyone can, but it's entirely possible she could have been pregnant, and it's entirely possible it was just something to manipulate her two brothers, for entirely different reasons. But yeah, and before I move on, let's go to John's doesn't feel, right? He's talking about, now his voiceover, at first thought you would think he's talking about the Night King, and he just might be, right? Doesn't stop, doesn't feel, but it also applies, and they show Cersei right after that, so it applies to Cersei, doesn't it? She's got she has that reputation, but again, the moment he said doesn't feel, and eventually goes to Cersei, having this moment of sadness, of regret. So again, some great juxtaposition going on there. Yes. These shots of the dragons. Now, it's quite clear that they are, or actually, is it clear? I don't know, man. It does appear that they might be back up north. They might be going back up north, man. And if that is the case, at what point of the timeline is this happening in? Now, this could be during the build-up to the grand battle, right? Perhaps they got some information from Bran or someone else, and probably Bran, If you're going to take two dragons, you're probably banking on that information being spot on, and from a reliable source, The Three-Eyed Raven, aka Bran, or you could flip that, is a reliable source. So if he's telling them something important that could help them in the battle, or against this final conflict against the Night King and his army, they're gonna go check it out. Is it possible they're looking for something? Is it possible they're looking for someone? It appears that they might be going north. Are they looking for the Children of the Forest again? Again, I mentioned earlier on the last hero. And John kind of really fitting into that, that story, that lore, and the last hero, he was on the lookout for not on the lookout. He was looking for the Children of the Forest, and he found them. Now, is John doing the same thing? John and Dany. Now, I say John and Dany because I firmly believe that they might be riding these dragons, and I think some clever editing kind of took them out. Now I say that because there's also that shot later on of them kind of going up to Rhaegal and Drogon, and it appears that they're about to mount them. You know, they're probably like seconds from mounting them. Yeah, gorgeous shot, man, gorgeous shot. And right here, like, you know, they're not just gonna show us a random shot of Drogon and Rhaegal just, you know, flying around. I do believe they're both on them, and you know that means Jon's on Rhaegal, the dragon that is named after his father. This is just what the fuck, like, you know, this is just, it's you couldn't even imagine this, you know, this stuff back in seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, just, you know, it seems like a lifetime ago almost. They showed this shot in that quick promo. You know, Arya seeing her first dragon, and you know, there, you know, there's a smirk. You know, earlier on I was talking about the potential of having Dark Sister, the sword. Imagine Arya, you know, getting on one of those dragons. I mean, there's only 2 dragons, and like, you know, it'd be difficult for her to all of a sudden, you know, be on a dragon. But I don't know, you know, I'm just kind of fanboying here. Imagine Arya, you know, all that time ago, she's talking about Visenya and her dragon and her, you know, her sword. Imagine Arya on a dragon, right? That could be cool. That could be really cool, I think. Oh my god, this shot is just beautiful. Incredible shot, man. Jon Snow out there by the Heart Tree, man, just like Ned Stark. You know, the Heart Tree's been a reoccurring, you know, sight throughout the 7 seasons, and I guess 8 seasons now. You know, they've shown us Starks out there plenty of times. You know, they've shown us Maester Luwin's death out there. Bran's been out there since coming back, and even as a kid, as a younger kid, he used to go out there. You know, Osha and Hodor used to take him out there. Yeah, man, this is just like a beautiful shot. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be my thumbnail. Like, this is, you know, perhaps a moment of reflection. Perhaps this might be after he gets news of his real parents, you know, his true identity. You know, and he just feels like he needs to go out there to clear his mind, to, you know, to think it out, you know. You know, if Daenerys shows up in this shot, that is just going to be another iconic moment. But it could also be cool to see, you know, other Starks showing up. You know, Sansa, Arya, maybe even Bran comes out here. Is it possible this is how he finds out? You know, maybe Bran and Sam roll up, and, you know, this could be the scene he finds out. The Hound. So you can see he's out there. You know, this is the same backdrop they had for Jaime, Brienne, Tyrion, Podrick. You know, they're all out there. You know, they're all out there fighting. Looks like Hound's having a bit of a moment here, man. Again, you know, it's been a long running theme. Him and fire, his, you know, his fear of fire. Yeah, I'm just, man, I'm so excited. This is just, honestly, it's just so amazing to see all of them in the same spot, man. It's just, it's unreal. It's just unreal. This, Jaime fucking Lannister. My dude. I intend to keep that promise. You know, so there's a lot of interesting dynamics here, you know, of him showing up here. Back in season 1, he joked about all of these things, right? He's being sarcastic. He was smug to, you know, as Jon's about to leave and, you know, join up the Night's Watch. Now, all this time later, you know, he is the one presenting his case to, you know, join them and, you know, fight those things that he, you know, made jokes about. That was a different Jaime Lannister. Now, I said he's, you know, trying to make his case, but I don't think Jon's gonna, you know, have any problems letting him join up, because that was the plan, right? That was the whole plan. They left King's Landing, you know, with that promise that they're gonna get help. Now, you know, Jaime is, he intends to keep that promise. But he's also going to probably let them know about Cersei and her play, that she, you know, she crossed them, and that she was just lying. And does that mean the heat's going to be on Tyrion, you know, after that happens? Because Dany's going to question him. Again, you know, another major thing here is, you know, the Bran and Jaime angle. That's a major, you know, thing. Now, you know, I'm excited to see if that's going to be a thing that's going to be in the open, or it's going to be more of a private moment, you know, just him and Bran. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. How Arya and Sansa, react to Jaime coming along. To see again, man, to see Jaime here, to see Jaime part of all of this, fighting alongside all of them. It's such a surreal moment for me, man, because this is, Jaime is one of my favorite characters of all time in anything. I just can't get over how incredible this arc has been. His story arc has been just phenomenal, man. I honestly think it's, one of the best in television history. Following him from season 1 into season 8 now, this is just incredible. He is without a doubt one of the best characters of this show. I think this season is going to have a lot of incredible Jaime Lannister moments, man. I think this season he's finally going to get to live up to everything he always wanted to be, man. Takes me back to season 1, his dad telling him that he has all the attributes. He's gifted to do amazing things. He's destined for greatness. But at that point, he hasn't done much. I believe he called him a glorified bodyguard. So I feel like this season is going to give him those chances. I think it's possible by the end of this, he might be talked about like people talk about Sir Gerald. People talk about Barristan Selmy, Arthur Dane. That reminds me of that scene, man. It's for me probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the entire series. It's Joffrey and Meryn Trant and Jaime, and the Book of Brothers is there, right? And Joffrey is kind of, he's kind of going through it. He's going through all the great deeds of the King's Guard, and he mentions he goes, he does flip to Sir Arthur Dane's page. Once Joffrey gets to his page, he's being, he takes a dig at him. He's trying to mock Jaime. He's like, someone forgot to write down all your great deeds, and Jaime says, "There's still time." Fuck yes, there's still time, Jaime. I think by the end of this season, someone's gonna have to start filling out all the great deeds of Sir Jaime Lannister.
Sir Jaime Lannister, knighted and named to the King's Guard in his 16th year. At the sack of King's Landing, murdered his king, Aerys II. Pardoned by Robert Baratheon. Thereafter known as the Kingslayer.
It's the duty of the Lord Commander to fill those pages. And there's still room left in mine.
And just thinking about that gives me goosebumps, man. A scene, perhaps, maybe it could be Brienne. Imagine Brienne writing down the things Jaime did. Could he give up his life? Could he sacrifice himself for a Stark? To save their life, or to give them a chance. That could make for a powerful scene, man. That could be incredible. Now this is a bit out there, but imagine if that tag he's had all his life, the Kingslayer, right? People look down on him. It's a negative thing. People they've been calling him Kingslayer as an insult this whole time. Imagine if that insult totally flips around and becomes a badge of honor. Imagine if he has a part to play in the slaying of the Night King. Oh my god, imagine. Dude, I'm just fanboying now. This is just imagine if he has a role, if he has a part to play in the finishing blow, perhaps, to take out the Night King. Imagine if it turns around and becomes a term of recognition, a term of respect. There goes Kingslayer. And, again, he's down there, and, it's just incredible that now he might be, he's fighting side by side alongside Jon Snow, Rhaegar Targaryen's son. The parallels, it's incredible stuff, man. I'm really excited to see how it all turns out for Jaime. Holy shit, I'll get to that, but look at this shot, man. Who could this be? Now, I'm seeing the fire in the background now. Throughout this trailer, they've shown that, I think that's a man's hand. But Jon, I don't know. I don't think Jon's going to be using that. Could be Theon. Actually, yeah, it could be Theon if he shows up. But of course, his, plan of action at the moment is, trying to rescue Yara, but it could be Theon. Now, before I go too far, Jaime. I talked about perhaps Jaime dying, sacrificing himself in order to protect the Stark. I think Jaime is going to survive the big battle. I think there is unfinished business. I think there is going to be a reunion of sorts. I think he is going to meet Cersei again. That cannot be the last time him and Cersei, see each other. That's seen in season 7. I think they'll meet again. It could be an intense scene. Let's see how it plays out. Is he gonna, long running theory has been that Jaime's gonna end up killing Cersei, and the prophecy is gonna come true. This shot, Jon and a bunch of men running, and it appears that they're running inside. They're running to get inside the gate, and he doesn't have any armor on. That's kind of crazy. No armor, but they have armor on. Whoa. Hold on. Huh. Yeah, it looks like they're running to a gate. Actually, no, Jon is not part of this. That's a different shot. I think that's a different shot altogether of Jon running. I thought maybe he's up front, but I don't see anyone in front of this guy, and this guy is the closest to the gate. So it's a different shot. Huh. But it's kind of strange how Jon has no armor on. Let's see how that plays out. Now see that. Look at this. Those are horses, right? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Could that be Ghost? Now up front, see these, yeah, I think those are horses, right? But then if you look carefully, I think right there, oh, holy shit, yeah, I think that's Ghost. Look, he's much lower to the ground. Look at the legs. That's a leg right there. Yeah, I think that's Ghost. And is it possible that Nymeria and her wolf pack could show up at some point? That would be fucking amazing, right? But I think that is Ghost. And a bunch of horses. Of course, people are riding the horses, but I think that might be Ghost running a side by side. This is a shot I was talking about earlier. Them going up to Rhaegal and Drogon, and it appears that they're probably going to mount them and fly off. And that's just nuts to potentially see Jon Snow riding a dragon. And of course, this shot of Sansa not looking too happy, looking a little bit concerned. Now there is that, they showed a few promos, right? The really quick ones. There's that one shot of that one quick scene of Dany and Jon inside the castle, and Sansa kind of eyeballing Dany as she's hugging Jon. So there's gonna be some friction there, I think, at first. Oh, this shot of Arya, man. Yeah, I mean, I believe. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So, but look at that. That's blood, though. Should there be blood splattering out like that? You can see people climbing behind her. This is the same location Jaime, Brienne, and Tyrion and Pod are in, right? So she's up there as well, and you can see right behind her. There's a few more climbing up. Again, they look more human, though, to be honest. I mean, at some point, I'm forgetting that at some point, if the Golden Company is indeed loyal to Cersei, and if Euron actually, did his job instead of, trying something else, there might be another battle, right? The Golden Company is going to attack them at some point. This is a gorgeous shot of her inside. She's looking a little bit concerned. She's looking... It feels like... it really feels like she might know at this point that, they're related, that he's a Targaryen. Yeah, I mean, look at the costume design on that. Holy shit, that's incredible. It's going to be hard on both of them. They're going to have some thinking to do. This shot of Tyrion, now those two shots are not happening at the same time. It's, again, a misdirect. Now, this is interesting because this is definitely in the south. You can see it's like sand or dirt in the background, and you can see the way he's dressed. Still has his pin on, hand of the king, hand of the queen, sorry. So this is after the, you know, the big battle. And like I said earlier, I do believe the castle is going to fall, and I do believe they're probably going to have to retreat and abandon the castle, you know, and go south. And the final battle might even take place in King's Landing, right? I think a lot of things are going to go down at King's Landing. But again, you know, they decide to show us a shot of Tyrion. Seems to be looking up at something. Could be a dragon, but could be something else entirely. You know, this is kind of throwing, I guess they're trying to throw people off here. Now, they show Drogon. I'm trying to figure out see, it's tough to tell if he's in a cave or if he's outside. If he's in a cave, in a dark place, could it be the crypts? Could he even fit down there? Now, you know, in the books, the crypts are described as, you know, these sprawling labyrinth, enormous, right? So he could be down there. If that is Drogon, you can see in the eye, you can see a little bit in the eyes there. Could be looking at fire, you know, so it could be outside. They've shown us a bunch of scenes of fire in the background, you know. So he could be outside. Now this is the calm before the storm. Look at this, Podrick and Brienne on the front lines. This is just, you know, this is reminiscent of Helm's Deep. So, you know, again, even earlier on, you know, I forgot to mention, even in the crypts, that's, you know, it feels like it's a nod, a parallel to Helm's Deep. You know, the people down in the crypts. This is just, and I believe, let's have a quick look. Yeah, well, yeah, right there, you can see. So the Knights of the Vale showed up. But right before it pans to this person, it kind of, you know, switches to Jorah, who's also on the front lines. So, you know, this is so goddamn exciting, man. And of course, this moment, this is just out of a nightmare. They are here. Now, you know, this is not the Night King. You know, he has no reason to, you know, dismount his newly acquired dragon. But this is the army of the dead that has shown up. Now, you know, in the trailer, they haven't shown us if the Night King showed up here. You know, him and Viserion. He's kind of OP as fuck at the moment. Like, he is so OP. I feel like he could just show up and level the place. Like, he could just fuck him up. Is it possible that he might not show up here? I mean, if he shows up here, those dragons have to be here. Rhaegal and Drogon have to be here. You know, perhaps to engage them in an aerial duel. But yeah, final shot. This is it. Game of Thrones, a final season. Imagine if Lady Melisandre has a Gandalf moment at some point during the battle. You know, she said she is going to come back because, you know, she told Varys that she's meant to die in this land, and so is he. So she's going to come back. I feel like she might bring some help. You know, it's entirely possible she could be bringing some help. And, you know, that reminds me of all the potential reunions, right? You know, sticking on Melisandre and Arya. She told Arya they're going to meet again, right? So that's going to happen. You know, Melisandre doesn't just say that shit. It's going to happen. Arya's going to see her again at some point. And again, you know, I'm at the end of the trailer, so let me just kind of, I'm going to go off on tangents. You know, speaking of Arya, you know, I don't think Arya's going to give up on that list. I think at some point she is going to go try to take out Cersei. That is going to make things really interesting. And of course, for that to happen, she has to survive this. And I don't think she's going to die there, you know, at that battle. But yeah, you know, I think she's going to go after Cersei, and, you know, she's going to try to take Cersei out at some point. And she might come up against the Mountain. That could get, things will get a little bit tricky for Arya. Staying on the reunions, you know, and the biggest one, I think most people can agree, is Arya and Jon. That is going to be incredible. You know, I just imagine Jon seeing Arya and seeing how she's grown and become this elite assassin, elite fighter that can, you know, stand side by side alongside Jon and fight anyone, right? That's gonna be incredible to see that reunion. Yeah, man. Arya and the Hound, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be so great. Who else? Arya and Gendry. I think I saw a glimpse of it in this trailer. That's gonna be cool. Arya and Jaqen, could that happen again? I hope so. I hope I get to see him one more time. Let's go to Jaime. Jaime's got a lot of interesting reunions coming up. You know, Jaime and Tyrion, Jaime and Bronn, Jaime and Jon, Jaime and Bran, right? Jaime and Brienne, Jaime and Tyrion. Speaking of Bronn, I hope he shows up. I hope he's fighting alongside Jaime. I hope he's side. You know, he likes the Lannister brothers. You know, they're legitimate friends. I really hope Bronn shows up. And I think he will. They just kind of kept him out of the trailer. Jaime and Cersei, I think that's definitely going to happen. I think it needs to happen at some point. Who else? I think Jaime meeting Daenerys is going to be an interesting scene because he killed her father, right? So that's going to be another interesting dynamic there. Jon and Bran, Jon and Arya. Already said that, Arya and Jon. Melisandre and Jon, perhaps. Let's move to Sansa. You know, Sansa and Tyrion. That actually, that presents the chance for a few interesting scenes. You know, could be some really fun scenes. Could be I think it'd be nice to see them together. You know, have a few moments together. Sansa and the Hound could be interesting. Tormund and Brienne, hopefully at some point. And of course, the Mountain and the Hound. Is that gonna happen? Clegane Bowl, of course. You know, people have been talking about that for some time now. So the potential for a lot of interesting reunions, a lot of interesting dynamics and scenes. I'm excited for all of it, man. So there it is, man. That was a long one. That was fun. That was a lot of fun going through that. It's one of those things. Like I said, it's my favorite show of all time. So I could just keep going off on tangents. It's really exciting to just talk about it and think of all the possibilities and bring all the past information together. It's just so much fun. So if you got this far, thank you for checking this out. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Again, if you're into social media, check out my Twitter account. I'm super active there. That's the one. I really enjoy Twitter. I really enjoy that, so I'm super active there. And again, like I said, I would love to have other fellow Game of Thrones fans there. That was the perfect trailer. I thought that was perfect. It didn't show us too much. Like, I honestly think that trailer is more than enough. I don't think there's any need for a second trailer. Again, there probably is going to be a second trailer, but honestly, if they end it off on that, if they leave it on that and go right into episode 1, oh, beautiful. Of course, if it drops, you bet your ass I'm going to check that out. I cannot resist. That's not something I can resist. And besides, like, even if you try to resist, you're going to see, especially if you're active on social media, you're going to see most of the trailer, through screenshots and posts and just, people just talking about it. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for checking this out. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Take it easy.